Hi everybody, Lenny here from Flow Software. We are thrilled to be participating in this year's ICC 2023 event by contributing to PlugFest 2023. We will be participating with Data Dash, and as you can see, I've got my little dashboard running here inside of my Ignition Perspective project. All of this data obviously being pushed by a Flow instance right here from Johannesburg via Sparkplug B. Now, there was a few requirements that we had to comply with for PlugFest 2023. And the first one is obviously that we need to birth a UDT or a template definition with Sparkplug, and then obviously instantiate a few devices. In our case, we've got a very simple little filler device where I've got my KPIs around my good production widgets, my bad production. I'm also using our newly aggregated functionality to create projected capability with regression analysis. And that result is then obviously pushed to my Sparkplug B broker. Now, how did I do this? Well, inside of Flow, I've created a template. That's the first step. And you can see here I've got my very simple little template here, tracking for different time intervals what my actual production is. And then very importantly, I've created this hourly KPI that then project into the future based on linear regression analysis. Now, this template has been configured to push to Sparkplug or to the broker, locally hosted in the cloud, and we created a Sparkplug B broker to be enabled to comply, to push the template out to the broker. So what will happen is we will realize that any one of my filler instances, I've got 4 of them instantiated, they are derived from this template. So we'll first birth the template within Ignition and then instantiate our 4 filler devices. Now, how does that look? Well, let's go look inside of Ignition, and you can see underneath my MQTT engine, I do have a definition for Flow that's being birthed underneath Flow Software, and there is my filler template as it has been defined within Flow. And there is, just as an example, that production hourly KPI. So all of those KPIs has now been pushed as well, and I've got my tag, raw tag data defined as well. So I've got my good production, my bad production. There's my projected KPI as well for the hourly. So all of that has now been created as a template. As soon as we then birth the device will become a tag. So again, underneath my Flow software, you'll notice that I've got all these different devices that's being birthed, and this is in conjunction with the instances that we've created. Now, one very cool feature that we added to our Sparkplug template is the fact that each and every one of these values that we've got does have a documentation tag associated with it. Now, this is giving me a whole bunch of more metadata that we've got within inside of Flow. So I can see what its Flow ID is, its hierarchical name within the Flow structure. But the most exciting feature for me with all of this is the fact that we created or added in our API data calls. So you'll notice under the data object inside of the JSON object, I have already specified the URL to pull the data from Flow, the historical KPI calculated data that we've got. So that API is already configured for me. And that's exactly what I use to launch my pop-up and retrieve the historical data from Flow. So currently no data is historized within Ignition. The data is actually hosted in Flow and being pulled via our API call. This is also templatized. The perspective view that's been created has been templatized. So if I add any of the instances of that to my dashboard, it does have that linked to the view. So for each and every one of my assets, I can put down one of these repeater cards for me. It will automatically go and find the amount of KPIs that's been configured, being daily, hourly, minutely KPI, depending on the context that we've added to that. And it will build that up automatically within the repeater. So that's a cool functionality that we've done. It doesn't matter if you add a new KPI, the repeater will automatically go and identify, hey, there's a new KPI that's been added, and it's going to add a new KPI repeater card for me on the dashboard. Just to show you how that looks again, if we go to the dashboard, there we go. I've got my different repeaters here. So I've got currently tags, and this is for asset number 1. I've got my different tag values coming in, my minutely context, hourly context. If I select one of these, it will then pull the raw data, in my case for tags, and you'll notice it will use the API call from Flow, hosted in the cloud. In this scenario, the Flow server is in the cloud, so I've got access to that to pull it from anywhere in the world by executing then the KPI, the Flow API call for that. Ignition really made it really simple to do that integration and to build out this little dynamic repeater card that we have there. Hope you guys have a wonderful ICC 2023, and we'll catch you again later.